The Wandering Tavern is 15 layers of corruption, gambling, exotic restaurants, hotels, expansive workstations, and buzzing accommodations. Amongst these are 23 unique locations that range from lavish establishments down to the city's seedy underbelly. I've got detailed battle maps of the entire floating metropolis. As the sun sets, shadowy forms seep from dark corners to materialise throughout the Wandering Tavern. Luckily, I was able to collect scathing testimonies from over 30 NPC patrons and staff, and even the lingering spirits of the deceased. The Wandering Tavern, available now at hatdebuilder.com.
Hi, my name's Yasmin and I'm the DM.
Hi, my name is Samantha. I play Elora Greyvale and she is a sorceress from the province of Nephalia.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I play Ogvar Shawfort, a goat-herding, mushroom-seeking ranger from Kessig.
Hi, I'm Rick, and I play Otto, a spring sage from Hanweir sworn to the land, wandering the plain and setting wrongs to right with his ursine companion, Bojo.
As everyone ascended the tower, they found Esther preparing to pack, ready for their resource-gathering gambit in Saltstone. An appropriate new name for their airship was debated, and eventually electing that the Elysian Shadow was most fitting, with a golden feather for a figurehead to reflect recent events and their fallen friend. The super-sweet smells permeating from the pantry on the 7th floor proved irresistible to Rowan as he regaled himself with making his mark on the marzipan. And later, Elora clumsily found Quin's precious potion on the floorboards as her footwear connected with it. Unbeknown to her, it had cracked under the unfortunate impact, and upon picking it up, it sadly shattered to smithereens in her hand, allowing its contents to pool across her palm. Soon, they were back aboard, this time a test of skill for Ogvar and Eric with overland travel, which they achieved in admirable fashion before descending for docking at their designated destination of Saltstone. Episode 153, The Bare Necessities.
Okay, so running through what you guys are going to do and where you're going to go. So the main areas that you've got in Saltstone are, there is an apothecary, there is the Lord's Mansion, there is a merchant's, there is the Seagraph, which is the coastal graveyard, you have the church, there is a harbour master, and there is a craft quarter, which you would imagine is full of all sorts of general things. You'd imagine you think about your pottery, your woodwork, your metalworking. It's going to be probably a good resource point. But those are your main areas within the town, and obviously you've got Whistlemires as well, and then there are individual residencies. But just kind of looking at your key points, and you would be able to see this when you went over the town, you'd be able to see this from doing your scouting previously. These are your main points around the place. So it is up to you. So you have to whatever point you wish to do. So you could go very late into the evening, you could go until midnight, but it's very much up to you what you are going to do, where you are going to go, and what you are looking to get a hold of.
I've just had a word with Paul. Shall I go over to Whistlemires and see if I can get anything out of there? There's probably some booze and stuff like that. There might be some useful items. I don't know. I'll go and have a look.
Okay, it sounds reasonable.
There's mugs and things like that, we could clean them up. Useful.
Yeah, okay.
How high are we floating off the water?
Ogvar looks at one of the screens and goes, we're not in the water, we're just above it. The whole boat is out of the water, but not by much.
Well, okay, so how am I going to get down from here? Can you put... Is there a ladder you can put down or something like that we can leave in place to get up and down? Or
Certainly have a look. And if not, we've got the Sato's ladder.
yeah, how long does that stay in place? I know it's a once-a-day use. Presumably we just...
It's command. On command.
grow
It's
and
on-
shrink,
it's
isn't it?
on
So
command.
as long as it's got up to 24 hours, I presume. Okay, yeah, that would be a good idea. Maybe use the ladder.
Well, while you're playing around, perhaps I'll just go and have a little look around and see if I can see anything obvious. I'll let you know if I do. That makes sense.
But what sort of things are you after, Otto? So I assume you're sort of going to be looking after the main sort of structure of the boat with the spells and whatnot.
Well, I'm thinking
You
of...
need more wood.
Yeah, large piles of wood is what I'm thinking of. Or wooden buildings, anything like that we can drag over. If I fly over for the moment, I can always turn into a slightly larger form. You've seen, I can do a good impression of a bear. If you don't mind tying sort of a couple of ropes around me, I'm sure I can drag these things around quite efficiently.
Okay, it sounds like a good idea.
Why don't you take a door from somewhere and then tie a rope to the door? You can stack stuff on a door and drag it.
Are you
Carry
going to
more
turn
stuff
into a
that way.
crane?
Oh,
There we go.
Sorry, I had to. Otto, you were planning to do a bit of a scout round on wing to see if you could find some large lumber. That was your main goal. So, Ogvar and Elora, what are you going to be looking for?
by the sounds of it, we're doing a booze run.
Booze cruise. Okay.
Yeah, I think Elora would suggest doing a booze run first, and then possibly checking out the harbour master, see if we can get any nets, something that we can create hammocks out of, that kind of thing. Perhaps, fixings, that sort of thing, so you can hang things and
Replacement sails.
Yeah. lighting, anything like that.
Might be worth
Lanterns.
turning over the craft quarter, because although we have Otto with spells,
See if they've got any gold paint that hasn't dried out.
yeah, or just some general tools if we need to
Yeah.
fix it in.
Yeah.
okay.
And then I say the Lord's Mansion would probably be useful for things like furniture,
Yeah.
anything that we can salvage from there, candelabra, lighting,
Yeah.
candles, anything.
We
Okay.
need to go to the apothecaries in case Otto falls to an unrelated accident.
After 50 years, we can have a dig around and see if there's anything of any use that hasn't spoiled, but
Yeah.
oil-based things might not have spoiled, I don't know. We'll see.
I have been reminded that if I fall unconscious while I'm flying away, it might be a bad thing, so I shall withhold the question mark of whether you might find anything that smells a bit fishy. Comment. I'll not say that.
Elora will delve into Orland. Orland, could you pass me the little ladder, please?
All right. And he hooks out the ladder.
Thank you very much. Elora missed that one, so she's going to bend down and pick it up. She's going to hand the ladder to Ogvar, I think this time, and she's going to say, here's the ladder, Ogvar. If you, are we parked bow first, sideways on?
Sideways.
Sideways, okay. So she's going to hand Ogvar the ladder and say, here's the ladder. Do you want to organise that for us, that we can get up and down from the side?
I can certainly try, yes. I just see if I get my head around this. And I'll sort of go to the edge of the ship and hold it by... Is it like little as in like...
Yeah, it's like
tiny,
a doghouse.
It's a really small ladder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I hold it like that. So
And the activation words are grow and shrink.
yeah, so sort of rest it on the side rail or the steppy through bit, and sort of eye it up, sort of get it pointing down at the pier?
Yep. Yeah.
Pier? Yeah. Words escape me. Yeah, and sort of a best guess at what distance it is, and say grow however many feet it looks like it is.
Okay. Yeah.
But I'm not quite sure how well I have to guess that.
Elora would really like to have him guess.
Yeah. Give us a number.
I'm thinking. I'm going to go 40 foot.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
So no, I'm thinking it's probably going to be better if I went over rather than under.
Probably.
So we'll go 55 feet.
Okay. So you give it the command word of grow 55 feet. And yeah, the ladder drops down, it sinks into... are you aiming for the pier or are you aiming for the water? Aiming for the pier?
The pier, yeah.
Okay. So let's say you've got an extra 5 foot because you're floating 5 foot. So yeah, you command the ladder to go 60 foot. And it goes down. And it keeps on going down, and you end up kind of half over the edge of the railing as the ship is floating 65 foot up in the air. You are 10 foot short.
Yes, sounds about right. It's a bit of a long way down.
Elora's going to look over the side, look at this ladder, and go, huh. She's going to turn and look at Ogvar and just lopsided, sarcastic grin. Oh, well, would you look at that?
Ogvar looks down, looks at the gap, mutters, at least I'm dry.
Elora's just going to go very thin-lipped, tight-lipped, and just shrug her shoulders.
Okay.
After you.
Okay. And Ogvar will take out his rope of stone and tie it off to the what you call it?
Yep.
The banister.
The rail, yep.
And then sort of shimmy down the best he can down to the top of the ladder and sort of try and tie it off, and then say like a stone, and sort of use that to lock it in place.
Yeah, okay, so yeah,
And also make up the distance.
Yeah, you lock it in place and you make up a bit of distance. Like most ships, there are actually kind of inbuilt steps at the very top by the railing, so you can climb down those and climb down the ladder. It's going to be quite difficult getting anything heavy up, but you'd imagine at that point you'd probably be looking at Otto to be turning into a bear and hoisting it up the side anyways. Or perhaps even jerry-rigging a crane of some sorts over the mast.
I was going to say, is there a dock crane anywhere near?
Roll me a spot check, please.
Ooh. There's a 15 plus 11 for 26.
Okay. Yeah, there you can see there's one dock crane which is clearly broken, very old, it's fallen apart. There is a second one, however it is very, very small, clearly meant for carrying, a crate at a time up, not meant for carrying large blocks of lumber or anything like that. It's small and clearly meant for a smaller vessel as well, so you probably wouldn't have the height to get up across the railings.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, makes sense. So yeah, Ogvar will climb down onto the pier or dock, whatever it's called. Sort of look up and, you coming down, Elora? A little bit precarious, but it should be okay.
Yeah, fine. Elora wanders over to the edge of the boat and She casts Featherfall and just jumps off.
Okay, you cast Featherfall and jump off. You slow your descent as you approach the dock, the pier, and you stop yourself, a couple of inches from the surface, and then just lightly drop down to the wooden boards. You are safely down.
Yep, she's going to smooth off her cloak, flap it slightly, and then go, and then proceed to walk forward to catch up with Ogvar.
Cool. Perfect. Nice. So Otto, are you following?
I'm definitely not going to go down that ladder. But because Otto's in the same mood as me this evening, he's going to turn into the form of a seagull, which means he can use people for target practice as he flies by.
Amazing. Okie dokie. Cool. So you all off board on the ship, and you are now free to wander or fly around the town, as it were. So, starting with Otto, I'm assuming you're just going to kind of fly around, get a general overview, and earmark any really good pieces of lumber you can find.
That's the main thing, yeah, absolutely. And
yeah,
obviously if anything's
100%.
moving near any of these as well.
Yeah, 100%. So you can take a fly over town. You can indeed see that there is still some movement in the graveyard. Very slow movement. They don't seem to be moving outside of that area, or they certainly don't seem to have done so in the past 2 days. There are the same amount as before. They haven't increased in number, they haven't decreased in number. And that number was 5 that you could see.
Okay.
And they're moving quite slowly. Yep.
Sorry, just clarifying, they look like zombies or something that might be moving a bit faster? Or
They're
stronger?
certainly they're humanoid and they're not moving that fast.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. So you take a fly around there, and you see the scene. But going around the rest of the town, there are a number of houses which are collapsed, a number of buildings which have been collapsed, and you could certainly, with a bit of work, extract some really good lumber from that. Quite a few of the houses here and buildings have suffered partial destruction or major destruction, so while you'd be able to find shards of wood, you wouldn't be able to find any big lumps of timber which you're looking for specifically. But certainly going around and flying above the harbour master's area, these 2 big buildings, I don't know if you can see it there, but there are 2 big buildings right here. So this is where in this curve here, this is where you've docked the ship, probably somewhere in the middle. And then here you've got 2 very large buildings, which are the merchants and the harbour masters.
Yep.
So there we go, those 2. And you can certainly see some decent bits of timber there, where you'd imagine that specifically for ships needing repairs, they'd hold timber, decent quality, well seasoned, and it would certainly be worth checking out. So you could say that you would be able to get all of the resources in terms of lumber that you need from Saltstone, certainly. You might have to do a bit of work to get them, but 100% you'd be able to get this today.
Fantastic.
Okay. So while you're flying around, very quickly, once you've kind of earmarked those places, are you then landing and turning into a bear and starting to pull bits out? What are you doing? What's your next move from that point onwards?
Just very quickly locate the others.
Yep.
We'll get their attention by dropping a small parcel in front of each one. And he'll then just shout down, I'll be by the harbour masters. Looks like they've got plenty of wood, which he can now do. He can speak in his wild shapes. So that might be of some surprise to the others. He's not explained to them.
What does Bird Otto sound like? Do you take on a bit of the quality of the animal?
Mostly to save my throat, I'm going to say no.
Cop out.
Yes, completely. I will allow you to add that image into your own head, that sound into your own head. Oddly enough, his own voice emanates from the throat of this creature.
Are you currently distracted if we throw a packet of chips up in the air?
Probably yes. He's very hungry. And then he'd fly over.
He's
and
a literal tramp on chips, isn't he?
Hey, the term is hobo. Thank you.
Hobo on chip. Doesn't have the same ring, does it, Summer?
Okay.
That's for the American audience.
Okay, so yeah, you can 100% do that, and you can start making your way over to the harbour masters and starting to actually go over and inspect this timber properly. So, while you're doing that, your fly around would have probably taken you about half an hour to 40 minutes to do. So you've done that. You've let Ogvar and Elora know where you are, and then you kind of start making your way over, and you can spend the rest of the afternoon diligently working your way at getting this lumber, arranging it, pulling it, figuring out how to move it backwards 100%. Okay, so while you're busy doing that, Ogvar and Elora, your first stop was Whistlemeyer's. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, so you head into Whistlemeyer's, and you can both roll me a search check, please.
A search check. No. That's a flat 3 with nothing to add for Elora.
Ogvar rolled a 14 plus a 7 for a 21.
Thank God.
Okay, I will add here that Esther would have come with you. Sorry, I didn't mention that. Esther will come with you.
Yeah, fine.
So you take a look around. Elora, you're pretty distracted, just in general, just looking around, trying to figure out, you're thinking a lot about Paul and all of the ghostly puns you can make and etc, etc. But Ogvar, looking around, you can see, this is your first time in Whistlemeyer's, and you can see that, yes, it was once a very nice pub. There are certain little things which stick out to you. You can see hanging from the ceiling a chandelier of type, like a rustic chandelier filled with tallow candles, which is actually a ship's wheel, with the candle holders bored out where the spokes join in, and the candles are still placed in there. They're melted, they're clearly used, but it's a very, very thematic chandelier. You can see tables, you can see chairs. There are other bits, there's a big fire at the other end of the room, so you can see little bits like fire pokers and other bits you think, if you're running a pub and you've got a fire going, you want like bellows, etc. Looking behind the bar, you can see the bar stools, you can see a plethora of tankards, large tankards, smaller tankards, little almost like egg cup, obviously for shots of whiskey or stronger liquor, and you can see a rack full of bottles. Poking your head into the kitchen, you can see obviously the various kitchen outfits, so you can see your chopping blocks, your knives, your spoons, your cooking pots, everything that you would need to basically run a kitchen is in there. I'm going to say you won't be able to find any dry stocks in particular, because things like fish would have been caught fresh. Meat, if there's any left, it's well spoiled by now. Same with any vegetables, and even dry foods like grains and flour has long since spoiled, or the bags have split. So you're not going to find any supplies for cooking there, but certainly things if you might want to outfit your kitchen a bit more. You might find things like spices, for example. So you might find some pepper, salt being a big one that you'll probably find a small sack of salt. Other little bits, perhaps preserved leaves like thyme, which have been potted and corked, so they've been kept sealed. You could say that those are probably still usable. And heading upstairs, Whistlemeyer's was an inn as well. So heading upstairs, you see broken bed frames. They're not very good. The hay mattresses have clearly been pulled apart by rats. But what you do come across is you come across a cupboard which is clearly like a linen cupboard of sorts, where there are 5 pretty much pristine white sheets. They could do with a wash, but they are untouched. They are whole. They haven't been ravaged by moths or rodents. And yes, you can see 5 pristine bed sheets, and this is like a bottom sheet and a cover basically.
Would he have found like plates and cutlery and things like that?
Yes, the kitchen outfit. So you'd be able to find all that stuff. And in terms of liquor, you would be able to find 11 bottles of whiskey.
Ooh.
And no, I keep on missing the dice tray. A further 5 bottles of other assorted spirits. So things like white rum, dark rub, perhaps really, really nice looking ale or gin, other strong liquors in that sense. So is there anything... oh yeah?
Yeah, I assume, is there anything else you wanted to do? We're doing all sort of this stuff around the inn, tavern as it's called. Elora, this is where you found Paul.
Yeah, he was behind the bar. I was literally reaching behind the bar to get a bottle, and he just appeared. It gave me quite the shock.
Well, I'm sure it hasn't escaped you. I don't think he knows he's dead.
No, but he seems happy, so why disturb him?
Well, yes, I agree, but...
For now, anyway.
But why is he haunting, or why was he haunting the inn? Did he die here? And how did he die?
Well, I can't exactly ask him that without giving the game away, can I now?
Yeah.
Elora's going to have a quicker look around based on what Ogvar's just said to her. Are there any photographs, any personal items? Because I think if there were personal items, I think she would take them for him. She would be thoughtful to take them for him.
Both of you can make me a search check.
Could Ogvar not be looking for personal effects, but possibly looking to see if there's any evidence to, like, if he died in the tavern, or if...
Yeah, 100% make me a search check for it.
Yeah, cool.
Okay.
Right, Elora's search check would be an 11, so nothing to add, it'd just be pretty average.
Okay.
Ogvar's was a 12 plus a 7 for a 19.
Okay, so start off with Elora. You go around looking for any personal items. And you search through the areas. You search through an area which was clearly, you would say probably Paul's bedroom, judging by the fact that it's tucked away, it's more remote, and there appears to be more kind of personal effects, I guess. And in terms of personal effects, I mean like clothing. So you open up the wardrobe and you can see very tattered, moth-bitten clothing hung up, which is clearly, it's falling apart at the seams. It's not useful, it's not usable, but clearly, if you're staying in an inn, you don't put all your clothes in a wardrobe. This is clearly Paul's room. And indeed, you can actually see clothes which are similar to the ones that he is currently manifesting. Looking around, there isn't really anything else. And the thing which strikes you is this is a single bedroom. This isn't a bedroom where you'd have a husband and wife. This isn't a bedroom where you've got 2 people all sleeping, or even a family of people sleeping. This is very much just one bedroom for one person. And looking around, you can't see really any personal effects. There's nothing. There's no pictures on the walls. If there were pictures, they're long since kind of destroyed or ripped to shreds, falling apart. They haven't been preserved well. Clearly, the sea air has not done well for them either. I'd say maybe you do find, I'd say, a locket, perhaps under his pillow. It's an old locket. It's very simple, it's very plain, it's not gold, it's not silver, it's just a simple kind of, you say like a a copper or something. It's clearly tarnished, it's gone kind of green. But when you kind of get your nail into the groove and really force it open, because it's kind of welded itself shut after so many years, you do see two miniature portraits. And they're not like photos, they're not accurate representations, but they're miniature portraits and clearly have been painted with love and care. And it depicts on the left hand side a woman and on the right hand side a man. Clearly older, and you say these are probably even Paul's parents. The only other thing which you could think of which might be a personal item to Paul is the horizontal sign that hangs outside the pub which says Whistlemeyers. Ogvar, looking around for any evidence of whether this is where Paul expired, you cannot see any. Similar to Elora, you don't see, you see the bed, and the bed, although dusty, torn apart, there's no evidence that, a body has died here and been left to stew for a period. There's no marks that would indicate, there's no blood spatter, there's no, there's nothing that would indicate a violent death inside this building, and there's certainly no bones or remains that you can find. You would actually, with the history of this place and knowing the history of Saltstone, you're pretty sure that he was probably a victim of this plague that swept through, and he's probably been buried. His body is probably interred within the seagraff, perhaps even amidst one of these big mass graves they had to dig, where they had so many bodies piling up they couldn't bury them individually. So Paul's probably over in the seagraff, his corpses anyway, but there's no, there's nothing to suggest that he died from anything other than the illness that swept through the place.
Okay, that's cool.
I think of the objects that we found. I think Elora would... Ogvar?
Hello.
Ogvar? I found this under Paul's pillow, and she's going to hold up the locket. Or maybe try to clean it up a bit and give it back to him.
Okay.
I would imagine this is quite personal. He'd probably want this back. It looks like an older couple in there, possibly pictures of his parents, I don't know. The other thing, do you think he'd like the Whistlemeyers sign? If we eventually get actual cabins for ourselves and make those changes, we could put it on his door or something. It's just something personal, if he's leaving his old life behind.
If there's some spare room in the galley, we could have like a little bar in the corner for him.
Maybe we can put it on the galley door or something.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get that down as well.
Okay,
Okay,
let's have a little go.
okay.
So I think we would go about, probably the three of us would go about trying to gather all this stuff together into, maybe try and ferry it down by the docks if we can find some kind of crates and boxes to load it in and shuffle it down by the docks somehow.
Yeah, so Esther steps out while you're busy doing bits and bobs, and with an 18 plus whatever her search check is, she's able to find a sort of busted little wagon. It's like a hand cart, and she kicks the wooden wheel back on and make sure it's secure, and it's got a bit of a wobble. One wooden wheel drags slightly, and she's able to kind of pull that around to the front, and you can start loading up things into there, carrying them down to the pier and dropping them off. So you can take you can definitely take some of the bottles, you can take the spices, anything else. So is there anything in particular besides the sign, the locket, the bottles, and I'm assuming you're taking the spices that you're taking?
Yeah, I think
bed sheets as well.
And the
I
bed
think
sheets.
maybe the sheets, maybe the bellows might be useful for anything, the chandeliers, tables, chairs. Literally, just try and clear as much out. The tankards, extra cooking pots. I don't know, the plates, cutlery. The liquor, anything that we can take. That all of that is really useful and could have a place on the boat. I think Elora would think. She will cast Mage Hand. It is a concentration spell, but she will use Mage Hand to also help move the lighter things around and gather them together as an extra hand, if you like.
Okay, so you can take lots of bits from there. The 5 main items you're taking will be the bed sheets, the liquor, the locket, the sign, and the spices. But you can 100% take more kitchen items, kitchen knives, any other bits that you want to take. Anything else that you want.
Basically, we just want to equip Paul with the tools to do his trade, really, don't we?
Yeah, even better if they're ones that he recognises. That might make him feel better that he's, up to the left kind of thing.
Okay, cool. I do have to know though, are you taking the chandelier with you?
Hell yes.
Okay, you're also taking the chandelier. Okay, that's excellent. So,
Yeah. She'll help use Mage Hand to help get the swinging sign down, and also the chandelier, if it's just undoing fixings and stuff, should be able to do that with Mage Hand, surely.
Yeah, absolutely. So
might need to catch it as it drops, but
So only fools and horses.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you can get that down. That's absolutely fine. Okay, so you've been into Whistlemires, you've gutted that out. That's probably taken you about an hour. So I imagine as you've been carrying stuff outside, this is where Otto's kind of swooped in and told you that he's going over to the harbour masters to check out this wood. That's at some point during this process, that's where Otto's kind of let you know where he's heading to. So you finished up.
Oh, for goodness, did that seagull sound like Otto?
Oh yeah, I think it did, dearie. I think that might have been Otto.
I thought if he changed into a seagull, he would have sounded a bit more bird-like and not had the same voice as usual.
Yes, dearie.
I think to help move all this stuff along as well as using Mage Hand, once she's got everything down, I think she would drop Mage Hand. Guys, do you need to move some of this stuff by the dock? I can do this magically.
Oh, okay, yes, anything that saves us a bit of time and effort.
I think Elora would take her... Oh, hang on a minute. No, that might not work. Hang on. Yeah. I think she would... If it's all stacked on... Did you say it's all stacked in a wagon?
Yeah, so you've been making multiple trips backwards and forwards. It's not a massive wagon.
Oh, all right.
But yeah, I mean, you can find...
okay.
You can 100% find, like, in the kitchen, a crate to shove the bottles in, so you can just lift the crate in and out. It's just a way to get them down to the docks without too much hassle, too much expenditure of your resources, essentially.
Okay, no, I'll leave Mage Hand up, sorry, and I won't cast the other spell, so just Stet, as it was before.
Okay, cool. So once you finish with Whistlemires, I take it you're going to move on to the next place. So you were looking at the Harbour Masters, the Craft Quarter, the Lord's Mansion and the Apothecary. The Harbour Master is probably the furthest away on the far left, where Otto is. So where are you heading to next?
Assume we'd go to Harbour Masters, means we've been directed by the seagull.
Yeah, I think that's a good place. I think Elora thinks that I think Ogvar, I think we'll find that Harbour Masters might have some they might have some lamp oil and lanterns and things like that, and maybe some cargo nets that, if we haven't got individual rooms right now, but we can sling hammocks. We can make hammocks out of out of nets or something. I mean, they must have that kind of thing there, surely.
Yes, sounds like a good idea.
Some rope and fixings, that kind of thing,
Yes, sounds like a good
rings,
idea.
cleats, anything like that.
Okay, cool.
Yes.
So you start making your way over to the Harbour Master. Esther carries on with the wheelbarrow, this little cart she's got with her. But as she starts making her way over, dearies, I'm just going to pop off over to the church. I'll be fine on my own, I've got my sword. I'm just going to pop over to the church and take a quick look around there and see if there's anything I can recover from there. I'll take the little cart with me, because I don't think it's going to be useful with big bits of wood or anything. And I will meet back shortly. If I finish there, I'll come over to the Harbour Masters and meet you there.
Yeah, sure thing. You get any problems, you holler. You holler like hell, okay?
Sure thing, toodles, and off she goes. And the cart squeaks merrily
Bye.
as she walks up the hill, heading clearly off towards the church. Okay, so you both make your way over to the Harbour Masters, where you see Otto. So you make your way through the door, which has been pushed open. You can see there's a back door which similarly has been pushed open, and that leads out into like this big kind of lumberyard almost. You can see wood ends, big chunks of wood, oak, well seasoned bits, and you can see Otto, who is in bear form, I'm assuming.
Yeah, absolutely at the moment.
Yeah, so you can see a big bear beavering away, beginning to push around lumps of wood. You're probably quite dexterous with your paws. You're able to lash some ropes around them and start making. Yeah.
Is Eric with us? Where did Eric go?
Eric's on the ship.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
You can probably imagine that I completely forgot about Eric, so he is now in the bottom of the ship doing a bit more research. So you can see Otto. He's clearly, he's pulled some spools of rope off the wall. He's made a bit of a lash with his big bare paws, and he's got one bit round, basically a hangman's noose over each end for like a big chunk of wood, and he's got it grasping between his teeth, and he's starting to pull it out of there's like a big side opening where clearly there's deliveries of wood were put in there, and you can take it out. You see Otto.
Welcome back. You want to give me a hand? Or two?
That's
new.
That's an interesting new trick. Since when have you been able to converse with us while you're in animal form?
About a day and a half. Thereabouts. No idea, don't ask.
It was you that was a seagull then.
You remember that dream I had after that?
Oh. Well, I must say this makes things easier.
I told you that seagull sounded like Otto.
You're right.
Look, I missed. It was deliberate, okay? Another time maybe not, but...
Perhaps you could save it for Jenric's plumbing.
Sorry about that too. I'm going to put it down to actually being able to eat and drink again. It does things to a man.
This is very strange. This is all very strange. I'm not sure I understand it. I'm not sure I want to.
I'm not pretending
What you
to
got
either.
there? What you got there then?
Big lump of wood. Figured that might make a nice wall by the time I finished playing with it. If we could sort of make some sort of, I don't know, sled or something like that, or any sort of thing that could let me carry a bit more wood than this, it'd be quite useful. And as much as I can tie a knot, I can't do very much more with these paws. So,
well, Esther's gone off to the church with a cart, but I don't think the cart's going to take that piece of wood, to be honest.
Oh, I don't need wheels, just big lump of wood, some sort of solid base I can just pull things along on.
What about a door or something? If we can get a door from somewhere, there's lots of doors around here.
Yeah, go for it. Spit out the piece of rope between his jaws and look quizzitively at the large doors at the entrance to the harbour masters, and just as if debating what the best way to just push them through is.
Well, Ogvar, have you got an axe? Can you help Otto get a door down so that you can use it like a sled?
It will be a bit rough around the edges, but yes, I can chop around the hinges, I suppose.
I'll get out your way then.
Ogvar, help you?
You are very easily able to kind of chop around the hinges and get this door down. It's a big door and it comes crashing down as you take the hinges out and boom, as you step out of the way. You've chopped down a door. It looks like it would comfortably fit 2 people on it.
Oh, convenient.
Well, maybe.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't find any nets, we could just take a load of doors and turn them into beds.
That we could do. There's plenty more wood lying around here, though. I'm sure if we spend a couple of hours working at it, I can lift them out. You just get it up to the top of the ship, then. I assume you figured that out. How to do that? I mean.
Well, I've been thinking about that. I could put a hole above the waterline. Not that we're going to go back via air, but I could put a hole in it. And we could instead of having to lift it up, we could put them in near the bottom of the ship, possibly. Oh no, Eric's in that part of the ship. We can't really do it in that.
Do you still have your...
I was thinking it would work, but I'd have to make the hole higher up. You'd still have to lift the stuff up, but you wouldn't have to lift it as high, because it'll close back up afterwards.
Do you still have your magic spell? The one that lets us, go from place to place?
I have that as well, but the problem with that is there's only so much weight I can take.
But Does there have to be much
I can take
restriction
some.
on how much I take? Because I've been mulling things over the last day or so, and I think a bear might not be the only thing that I could turn into, and it might not be quite so. I've got an idea of something I could try. I may not be able to be quite as strong, but I might at least be able to carry a bit more than a bear can. A bear can pull a lot, but it can't carry a lot.
Yeah, no, it can only be as much as I can carry, unfortunately.
Well, okay.
So I can't take really heavy weights. If I can lift it, then I can take it.
Okay. That makes it a bit more tricky then, doesn't it? Well, I can get it over to the ship and we can figure it out after.
Yeah, I think if we all pile it down by the ship, then all we've got to do is figure out how to get everything on board. If we pile it all down by the dock, by where we're, anchored, then that's a start, isn't it? And then we just put it all in a big pile and then figure out how to move it afterwards. Let's just get everything we need, I think.
Let's give it a go then. You want to load me up?
Okay.
Everyone good with that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, some of it's already over there.
Nice.
We got loads of stuff from Whistlemeyer's. Loads of stuff. Got a big light, and we got cutlery, and we actually got some sheets, and we got some herbs, tables, chairs, tankards. We got cutlery and plates, and yeah, we got all sorts, and plenty of liquor as well.
Oh. Well, I won't be drinking any of that, but the food sounds good. If we can get some.
Well, there isn't any food from there, but there's loads of stuff to deck the ship out with. It's all down by the ship anyway. We've moved it all over there.
Oh, well. Let's go have a look, shall we? Well, in a moment.
So what can we get from here then?
Okay. So you can both make me. In fact, you can all make me a search check, please.
Oh, my search is so crap. I've got nothing to add.
Yeah.
Oh god. Oh. Yep, that's a whole 3 plus nothing for Elora. Again.
Excellent.
Ogvar rolled a nat 20.
Oh my god.
What do you want to find?
Otto got an 8 plus 3, so just 11. Fair.
With a natural 20, Ogvar, roll me a percentile
Okay.
and tell me the result.
Okay. Ooh. 97.
Ooh. Okay.
That's a high number.
So that is very fortunate for you. So I had 2 items in mind that you could have found, and these are special items. So as you begin picking through the internal space of the harbour masters, you come across lots of different bits. You come across nets, you come across hammocks, and you can actually still see kind of almost sail point hoarding up for these hammocks, and it says dreamless sleep, have the best sleep on the high seas, and it's a load of promotional bulls basically. But you find some decent looking hammocks. They look sturdy, they look strong, they haven't deteriorated. You can find lengths of chain, lengths of rope, lamps, lamp oil, general bits of fitting. You can actually come across a large selection of paints which are still fully sealed, and as you shake the can they still feel like liquid. So you have blue, silver, bronze and green colours, and there's just a lot of other general bits and bobs that you would need to run a ship normally: tacks, hammers, general maintenance wares, wood planers, all that kind of normal maintenance gear. However, you come across, as you're looking around, looking for anything you can pick up, you see a small, nondescript trunk. It's a nice looking trunk. It's made of a pale beech wood with black cast iron fittings, and you bang your foot into it expecting it to be empty because it's quite small or even light, and you feel like you have rammed your foot into the anchor of the ship. It is solid. It does not budge as you kick it, and you stub your toe a bit and it hurts like a bastard. But as you investigate
Again.
As you investigate further, you open up the trunk and you look in to a vast void. And as inside the trunk lid, you cannot see the bottom.
Oh.
You have found a non-dimensional trunk. It's very similar to a bag of holding. It's a cargo box that holds more than it looks capable of. Anything with dimensions of less than 10 feet in all directions will fit inside. Up to 2 tons of cargo can fit in the non-dimensional trunk, which weighs no more than 200 pounds, even if the contents are far heavier.
Oh, who knew? How bloody convenient.
It's a very fortunate roll.
Oh my god. Brilliant.
Oh, very nice.
What was it? Anything less than what? Or anything?
10 foot into both.
10 feet in all directions.
Oh my god.
And that's page 50 in the Arms and Equipment Guide if you want a reference.
In the AAG. Oh, okay. What you got there, Ogvar?
Well, I'm not quite sure. It's a box. I thought it was quite small, but it's actually quite heavy. Hurt my toe a little bit when I kicked it. But when you open it, it seems to go on forever inside.
Show me.
So Ogvar sort of flips it round on the floor and opens it, showing her, look, there's no bottom. It
Elora
just
stands next to
keeps on
Ogvar and
going.
peers in. Oh. She's going to cast Detect Magic.
Oh yeah, it's magical. Yeah, 100% magical.
No roll needed there.
Can she tell what it is?
Yeah, with your experience being on ships, Casper probably has a couple of these. They're not common at all. And for Casper, this would be a rare treasure. He perhaps only has 1 or 2 of these, simply because he can transport so much cargo without any of the weight. It makes transporting cargo for him a lot cheaper. If he were to get one of his hands...
So would she recognise this because Casper has
Yes, I've
something
just said
similar?
I've just said that, yeah.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, you would recognise this. You've probably seen Casper's trunk once or twice before.
Is there junk in it?
Oh, no.
You flip it upside down and a bunch of nails and cow chops falls out, prime for you to stand on.
Oh, God. Alright, she recognises it with Detect Magic and because Casper has some.
Yeah, and you'd know that Casper would normally shell out somewhere in the region of perhaps 40,000 to 60,000 gold for one of these bad boys. This is a super duper rare find. And it's almost like someone rolled a nat 20 to find it.
That's amazing.
Okay.
Oh, Ogvar, that Casper has a couple of these. I've seen these before.
Okay.
That will carry a whole load of stuff. It's like an extra dimensional space, but it's huge. It carries large. You can get most of what we're trying to collect. We can put in this, and then just move it back up to the ship. That is an amazing find. Well done.
Well,
But
I sort of stumbled upon it.
I warn you now, don't ever put Orland into that box.
Make me a listen
Seriously.
check, please, everyone. Because I imagine, Otto, you'd have been attracted by the kerfuffle going on in here as well, and you'd be able to see this going down. So all of you make me a listen check.
Crap, getting worse. That's a 2 plus. I know, 2 plus a 6 for a whole 8 for Elora.
Yeah, Ogvar rolled a 2 as well, but he's got a plus 12, so it's a 14, which isn't terrible.
Otto
Otto?
rolled an 18, plus 18 for 36.
Okay.
Just what you want.
So as you're stood there and Elora's telling you about this trunk, Otto and Ogvar, you can hear a very low grumbling sound coming from Orland, as he's clearly just taking an intense dislike to this chest.
Is that your stomach again, Otto?
I don't think so. I sort of prod himself and check. But
What was that then?
is there a chance that your bag might be a little... Is it possible... Have you ever seen him get jealous before? Because I'm telling you, if you're taking his job away from him, I can't imagine it be... Yeah, it's definitely from him. Yeah. I don't think he's going to be very happy. You might need to feed him or something.
Laura's going to look round. Laura's going to look round at. She's going to pull the satchel round to her side, like to her front, and look down at Orland and say, "Orland, we would never put you anywhere. You can't be substituted. You come with us everywhere. You are invaluable. This thing, this is for different purposes. We will store the more mundane things in here. You come with us. Very different."
Poultry appeasements. I don't like the way it's looking at me.
Maybe we should...
I don't think it's
Maybe
looking.
we should hold it closer and see, let Orland have a look. See, it's no threat.
I don't think he'd like that.
Orland is just deeply suspicious of this chest. He's grumbling to himself, "Oh, fucking chest, oh, fucking woody bastard, fucking." He's grumbling to himself, chuntering. Thinks he's so smart with his cast iron. Fuck off, you bastard. He's proper chuntering to himself. He's just taken a particular dislike to this chest. For no apparent reason, and as far as you can tell, the chest is not sentient in any way. It's nothing like Orland, but he's just taken particular offence to this chest.
It's okay, Orland. Let's just move on. She snaps the lid shut on the chest and just... Ogvar, that's a really good find. Good spot.
Yes, I think it'd be quite useful, but what was that about Orland? No,
I just don't think he likes the chest. So...
you said don't put him in there.
No, don't put him in there.
Why not?
Well,
Not that I would, Orland.
it's just a magical thing, right? You can't put something that has an extra dimensional space into something that has an extra dimension. Well, you can, but it would be very bad. I've never seen anybody try it. I've just heard about it. Just don't do it, no matter what you do.
I have a question.
It goes the same way. We can't put the box inside Orland.
Absolutely not.
So I wouldn't put Orland in the box.
I wouldn't
But
put
I'd like to
either
put the box in
inside either if I were you.
Okay, duly noted.
You seem like the expert on this, but when I change shape, he explains as a bear, when all the things I've been wearing, you'd probably notice disappear. So if I was to be holding on to this thing, if I was to be carrying this chest, and then I turned into a different shape, would that cause a problem? Because they just become part of me. They don't just
I've never
disappear. They
seen-
just, they kind of become one with me. I don't know how it works. I don't pretend to know how it works.
I wouldn't have thought so, because it's what you're doing is shifting your shape. You don't become a magical space. So, but you know what? Just in case, don't trip up and have the lid fly open and fall in it.
I'll try really hard not to.
Okay, So, out of the harbour masters, you gain several things. You get this non-dimensional trunk, you find some hammocks, some nets, lamp oil, other generic bits, rope, and you find these 4 colours of paint: blue, silver, bronze and green. And it's in the process of ferrying these down to the docks, and with Otto with you dragging several big pieces of lumber on top of his door, that you bump into Esther as you get down there. And she's got her cart with her. The wheel is looking wobblier than ever, and as she walks forward, it's lurching to the left and lurching to the left, and it's like she's doing a bit of a shoveling motion, shoveling the shit. And in her cart, she, "Oh, hello, dearie. Oh, looks like you found quite a decent haul there." And she slaps you on the shoulder, Otto. "Oh, you big bear, aren't you?" In her little... in her cart, you can see several items. You can see what looks to be some fabric, which looks like potential altar runners. You can see a couple of books, which look to be prayer books. You can see several bottles of what is clearly holy wine, sacred wine. One which looks to be suspiciously half empty. There is a vast amount of candles, and these candles are piled up. She's clearly gone round the entire church and just rustled every single candle that they possibly have, which you'd imagine, being a church, would be quite a few. So the entire thing, you can see these bits, but the entire thing is basically mounded high with candles, under which you can just about see the cracked altar stone from the church itself.
Needing to gather goods, everyone headed out. The ladies, with Ogvar in tow, made for Whistlemeyer's to see what could be salvaged, whilst a very hairy-chested Otto made himself busy bashing the harbour master's back doors in, looking for some lumber. With Esther on her own mission for material acquisitions, the others pressed on with the pilfering. Ogvar discovered a very rare and valuable chest, triggering Orland, who threw out a tirade of insults. Join us next week in episode 154.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Having you as a listener means everything to us. So, whichever streaming service you choose to listen to us with, please give us a like, subscribe and follow. We would love for you to join us on our Facebook or Twitter page, where you can catch up with all of our latest news. While you're waiting for the next episode of Secrets of the Silver City, why not pop over to our website, where you can read all of the information about this campaign, from backstories to setting. All of the links are in the bio of this episode. Join us again next week for the next instalment. Thank you for listening.